Discord. Cheese Sandwich A True Love by Swish W. One day were Cheese Sandwich on his travels around Equestria. When he was staying in Appaloosa for a few days, he received a letter from Pinkie Pie that they want to have a celebration party for Twilight, and she asked him for his service, for his help, and he immediately felt excited. He has never been prepared a party for a princess, but since Pinkie is one of his good friends, he sent a back letter said that he will be there within in a day. Even in Ponyville, Pinkie Pie told her friends that Cheese Sandwich is coming, and they all were excited. Even Pinkie and Rainbow were most excited because they know how much work Cheese Sandwich put in a party. And on his way to Ponyville, Cheese was actually a little bit curious what kind of party that Pinkie had in mind. In the letter, she wrote that it was actually Twilight's 28th year's birthday, and she had actually told him that she had some things, some ideas, but she wanted his opinion about how much else could she put, and if that he had some ideas which could work much better. And when he arrived, the town has already decorated with some colors and even some banners with Twilight's cutie mark and her face on. But when he arrived, he noticed that some pony that was actually talking to Fluttershy and Rarity, and he saw was not a pony. He saw Discord. He has been on his travels so much, so he hasn't even received any news about that Discord had been released from his stone prison again, but this time as reformed. He asked Pinkie and Rainbow and even Applejack, why is Discord here? And why is he free from his stone prison? Haven't you heard? No, he said. And they all three explained to Cheese Sandwich, and he was taken aback. How could he be free, but at the same time he was not so sure if he could trust Discord? Not because he hated him, but he was very surprised at seeing Discord at the party. But after he's seen that he is helping Rarity, Fluttershy, and even Pinkie with some of the decorations or other things for the party, he was actually not that much suspicious anymore, but just he preferred to stay away from Discord just for not that he is against Discord reformation, but just he was a little bit skeptical about Discord. And that is one reason, because all the history he heard about Discord in the past, about when he tried to take over Equestria twice. That is the only thing that he made him to have him distant from Discord. He didn't hate him, just be cautious. That's what it means. But during the party, Cheese Sandwich was talking to Fluttershy, and then the topic about Discord brought up. She was actually surprised that he had even heard that Discord has been reformed. And then suddenly Discord appeared behind him, and that startled him. And Discord apologized for that he scared him, but he didn't mean it. He was going to ask Fluttershy if she wanted more cake. but she said that she is full and that she was not soon going to back going home, and that he was going to go back to his home dimension. But suddenly, he noticed that Sandwich was staring at Discord and then asked, "Are you two a couple?" Both Fluttershy and Discord looked at each other and at him, and Fluttershy said, "No, we're just friends." And Discord just said, "Yep, that's right, I'm just friends with this Fluttershy. And after all, she is more interested in somebody else." And he didn't exactly know who. But it turns out it was actually Soren from the Wonderfalls. And only that a day after the party, Sandwich was still staying in town just for a couple of days. When he was walking around, he encountered Discord in the park, talking with the Cutie Crusaders and showing them some tricks, and just even turning one of them has given Alpha Bloom the ability to fly for only for a moment. And how much Discord has been showing kindness, honesty, generosity for his friends. That made actually Cheese Sandwich a little bit more curious. But seeing that he using all his magic for helping others, or at least entertainment. But then he saw that he used his magic for prank. But that was only for mostly against his friends, like simple trick, like changing color on flowers, or making that Twilight writing books with her invisible ink. Like some simple pranks, but not serious. But there was something else about Discord. Steve Sandwich had actually felt a little bit more, not so much distant anymore. He actually approached Discord and asked if what he thought about this party the day before. And Discord said that that was not actually not a very bad party. It was less chaotic as he used to, but it was actually very full speed party. And that was actually one of the things he likes. And that Discord had actually been asked from Pinky and C Sandwich to make this fireworks at the end. That was actually something Discord didn't even know. It was actually C Sandwich idea. And that was Pinky one who told him that to make this fireworks. But for most part of that, C Sandwich and Discord just spend the rest of the day together to get to know each other better. Even though that Siege told Discord that most of the time what he heard about Discord's past, he was very cautious. Not afraid, but just he was really cautious. And Discord said, "Oh, well, I don't mind that. I understand that you are cautious about me being evil in the past, but you should know, I am reformed. I had only used my magic for helping others, nothing else. And that might have been trying to take over Quest again with T-Rex's help, but that was after he tricked me, nothing else. I am always here to help my friends, always and always." Hearing that from Discord made him very unusually calm. And Siege told that he was soon going to leave Ponyville for another party somewhere else if he's needed. Discord felt a little bit uncomfortable. He felt a little bit down, since it was actually the first time they ever had get to meet. And he wanted to spend some more time with Siege Sandwich. But then he said that he had to go back to Pinky to help her at Sugarcut Corner. And Discord didn't mind that. So they said goodbye, and Discord went back to his own dimension. But back in his dimension, Discord couldn't get C's Sandwich out of his mind. How much else do we know about Discord's past? He said to himself. He said to himself that most of his past has been a very bad one. Before all this, he had no friends. He had no special song pony. But when he met Seed Sandwich, for some odd reason, he felt happy. Even more happy than when he was Fluttershy or the other of his friends. But he wants to be with Seed Sandwich. And even at Sugarcube Corner, Pinkie Pie asked what he thinks about Discord. And to be honest, said Seed Sandwich, I think Discord is actually a very funny guy. He is not as what I expect to do. I mean, from what I heard from these past events about Wetham, I thought he was going to maybe turn me into, I'll say, a tomato or a dog. Well, he has the power to do that, but he would never do it, said Pinkie. Pinkie and Seed Sandwich was in the middle of baking of some cakes. And there comes conversation about Discord continue all the time until she had to go close down the shop for today. But even though Seed Sandwich would actually stay in the castle as a guest, and he actually had a very hard time to fall asleep that night. But when he fell asleep, he had dreams about Discord. First was actually a dream when he tried to take over Equestria, but that dream fast ended and turns into another one. He was sitting with Discord on a beach, middle of sunset, and suddenly they kissed. He woke up right away after that. What was that dream about? He said to himself. He was awake for maybe an hour before he went back to bed. But next day, he didn't tell any of his friends about this dream because they thought he was going to be a little bit weird. But the only pony he told was actually Twilight. And Twilight was said was a surprise, but she had actually studied some dream interpretation throughout, like what dreams could mean. According to that, she was actually saying that he had fallen in love with Discord without knowing it. And Seed Sandwich had no idea. But he said that he would need some time to think about it, and since he's going to leave with the town with the next 3 days, so he had plenty of time to think about it. So he went to the park and just talked to himself, what should I do? Should I tell him? Should I not tell him? And I wonder how he'll react. What should I tell him? Tell who? And Seed Sandwich startled and looked up and saw Discord in the tree above him. Oh, Discord, I didn't notice you were there. Well, I had an old habit to appear middle of nowhere. So, you know, old habits are hard to break sometimes. Yeah, can you understand Discord? So, who is the one who want to tell? Seed Sandwich was very, very surprised that he wanted to tell Discord, but at the same time he felt sure he didn't tell him. But then he decided, well, Discord, I had to admit something. Oh, what is it? He said Discord, and you looked up at the trees. I think I've fallen in love with you. And before Discord could say anything, he noticed that Seed Sandwich was gone. He actually ran back to the castle without Discord knowing it. And just even that Discord was trying to look to find him, he actually told Twilight if she could teleport him somewhere else. And she asked why. She then found out that he had told Discord, but she didn't wait for him to tell. No. I don't want to hear what he thinks. Please teleport me anywhere. And she actually teleported him. She managed to teleport him all the way to Manhattan. And later that same day, Discord had found out that he actually had left 3 days earlier. But even that, when he found out he was in Manhattan at the time. But that was too late. Since right after he came to Manhattan, he took the train to Trottingham. From there, he walked. So Discord had no idea where C's sandwich had taken away. Most of that, he actually had fallen for him too, even without realizing it. Discord had actually told this to all of his friends, and now they had no idea where he was. They were trying to help Discord to find his true love. Even for the past few days after that, Discord had been told by C Sandwich that he loved him. He had no idea where he were, or even if that the Fluttershy or the others did know. They wondered would they tell him, but they would. But at the same time, they had no idea where Siege actually were. They actually had some friends in most of the major cities and other relatives. And since Applejack has many relatives across Equestria, she had actually sent a message to all of them. If they had seen this particular pony, immediately wrote back so that she know. And unfortunately, it took nearly 3 whole weeks before they found out where exactly he could be. It was actually from a family member to Apple family in more than northern Equestria who has seen a pony much similar to the sandwich. But they were not even 100% sure if that was him, but that was the closest description they could give. So Applejack, Fluttershy, and Discord teleport all the way there. And since they had a picture of the sandwich and they showed it to the family, but unfortunately it was not the same pony. But they were only the closest relatives they had and messed as the best lead they had. It was like he had disappeared in the middle of nowhere. In fact, he had actually left for a small town in the even more northeast from there. But he decided to keep on traveling to at least avoid any contacts for longer periods of time. But after some time, about maybe 2 months, they found him in Crystal Empire. Discord and Sea Sandwich had a serious talk about what has happened. He wonders why had he avoided him for so long after he told him how much he felt for him. But Discord was told that he thought that he didn't like him back in the same way, that he was only like as a friend. But it turns out Discord actually fell in love with him over the past few months. And they decided to at least give a try to date. And they did. So even for the past few days after, it seems they were working well between them. They were actually made for each other. They could even stand to without each other. So only about 5 years later, Discord actually proposed to Sandwich. And he actually said yes immediately. But they had no idea exactly where the wedding to be held, Canterlot, Manhattan, or even Sweet Apple Acres. But they decided Sweet Apple Acres would be enough. And Discord had asked Spike to be his best man, and Big Mac to be Sid Sandwich big best man. And this wedding was actually one of the biggest in the year in Potomac. and they actually sent themselves to a tropical island for a honeymoon for 4 whole weeks. And they had plenty of time there. And that was the most perfect romantic time for them both. And but just even then, 2 years later, they had been talking about maybe start a family, but they have no idea how. But then this core member, his magic. He managed to combine with both of their DNA and managed to create a son with magic, which they named Cheddar. Cheddar became a half pony, half a Chronicus, and he actually inherited his father's chaotic powers. At first, he had very much hard to control his powers, but with his father's help, he managed to control it and only used it for good. At first, he was bullied that he was a hybrid, the first known hybrid, but that turns out to later on to stop. Cheddar actually had one dream to be one day a singer. Even his parents were first a bit skeptical of that he as a singer, but he actually had the natural talent for singing. But he had the two decisions, a singer or a music teacher. But he decided to be a music teacher, and he actually moved to Manhattan. And that's how Discord sees Sandwich found a true love and got a big family. The end.